November 24, 2014. 47,000 social security numbers. Unreleased films on torrent sites. Executive emails read like tabloid fuel. Not a bank. Not a retailer. A Hollywood studio, Sony Pictures Entertainment, brought to a halt by a message on every screen: Guardians of Peace. How does a movie lot become a geopolitical breach? Tonight's corporate breach case is Sony Pictures, 2014. Destructive wiper malware. A data dump of employees and unreleased movies. Theater threats over the interview. And an FBI attribution to North Korea that shocked Washington. Figures from FBI releases, AP timelines, and Sony financial reporting. Full links in the description. We cite counts. We don't invent them. This is not a credit card swipe story. Studios run on secrets, salaries, casting fights, unfinished cuts. When attackers steal email and screeners, the leak is cultural and personal. Employees are not abstract rows. They are assistants, accountants, and artists whose social security numbers can fuel identity fraud for decades. Sony Pictures Entertainment, SPE, is the film and television arm under Sony Group, headquartered in Culver City, California. Blockbusters, rom-coms, employee payroll, marketing plans, all on the same corporate network Hollywood trusts to move giant files fast. Invisible plumbing, until the plumbing publishes your inbox. On November 24th, workers logged on to a chilling lock screen. A group calling itself Guardians of Peace claimed credit. The FBI later said destructive malware rendered thousands of computers inoperable and forced Sony to take its entire network offline. Payroll stopped. Projects froze. The studio's digital nervous system went dark in daylight. Picture the assistant whose home address and salary now sit in a zip file anyone can download. Reporting on leaked documents described 47,000 social security numbers for current and former workers, celebrities and crew alike. You cannot rotate a social security number like a password. Sony later offered a year of credit monitoring. The fear outlasts the press release. Rewind 3 days. Contemporaneous reporting described an extortion email on November 21st. Demands for money, threats of damage, easy to miss in a flooded inbox. Security teams see thousands of spam messages weekly. The lesson is not mockery. It is triage. When a studio's crown jewels are digital, an ignored subject line can be the first scene of a wipe. Here is the first turn. The breach is not only stolen files. The FBI said attackers deployed destructive malware, a wiper meant to erase systems, not quietly exfiltrate. Hold that question. Why burn the house after you already took the valuables? Investigators and threat researchers described a familiar Hollywood-adjacent path, not a magical backdoor. Spear-phishing and stolen credentials get humans to click. Malware lands on workstations. Attackers map the network, escalate privileges, and hunt file shares and mail servers. Plain English, they tricked someone with a legitimate-looking message, then walked inward like an employee. Walk the path. Targeted phish or cred theft opens the door. Quiet lateral movement across the studio network. Mass theft emails, HR files, unreleased films. Then destructive wiper malware deployed network-wide. Public leak sites and threats follow. Theft plus sabotage plus publicity, a triple punch. Security researchers dubbed the wiper family DESTOVER, kin to Shamoon-style erasers seen in other destructive campaigns. Novetta's Operation Blockbuster report tied tools to a cluster they called the Lazarus group. The FBI cited overlaps with prior North Korean-linked activity. This was not a prank script kiddie. It was engineered erasure at studio scale. While systems burned, data walked out the front door of the internet. AP's timeline described personal information, salary details, and screeners of unreleased films, including Annie, uploaded and illegally downloaded within days. Executive emails became front-page gossip. The breach weaponized embarrassment. Hollywood's private bluntness became public ammunition. On December 1st, the FBI confirmed it was investigating the cyber attack. Agents were also tracking threatening emails sent to Sony employees and their families. The studio hired outside investigators, reporting named firms including FireEye, to hunt artifacts while leadership faced cameras. A lot became a national security story fast. By early December, Sony informed workers that unauthorized individuals may have accessed personally identifiable information: names, addresses, social security numbers, financial details. Lawsuits followed within weeks. Former employees alleged the studio should have hardened systems after prior warnings. Negligence becomes a legal theory when 47,000 lives are exposed. Second turn, the attackers pivoted from data to theaters. Threats against screenings of The Interview, a comedy depicting the assassination of North Korea's leader, pushed major chains to pull the film. Sony canceled its wide theatrical release. When cyber threats reach ticket stubs, the studio is not alone. The whole exhibition industry holds the bag. December 17, 2014. After chains refused to screen The Interview, Sony pulled the wide release, a stunning capitulation for a major studio comedy. Critics called it censorship by extortion. Supporters called it prudence after violent threats. Either way, a breach rewrote a release calendar and made a Seth Rogen film a diplomatic incident. On December 19th, the FBI went public. Enough evidence to conclude the North Korean government was responsible. The Bureau cited malware links, infrastructure overlap, and similarities to 2013 attacks on South Korean banks and media outlets. President Obama's administration promised a proportional response. Some private researchers debated the certainty, but the official file was closed on Pyongyang. Email leaks humiliated executives, racist jokes, producer snipes, salary envy. Co-chair Amy Pascal became the public face of the embarrassment. She announced she would step down effective May 2015, shifting toward production. Accountability in Hollywood often arrives as a headline, not a Patch Tuesday. Private threat intelligence added texture. Novetta's Operation Blockbuster tied malware families across years of activity, naming the Lazarus cluster. The report argued the Sony attack was not insider hacktivism, but a resourced operator reusing tools. Attribution is a mosaic: government statements, code overlap, infrastructure, and motive debates in the press. Sony Pictures rebuilt. Reporting described bolstered monitoring, new security leadership, and painful lessons on flat file shares and password hygiene. Hollywood Reporter noted unprotected spreadsheets in leaked sets. Employees received monitoring. Studios industry-wide suddenly cared about segmenting pre-release content. Recovery is expensive even when the lights come back. Sony's 2015 financial reporting set aside $15 million to address ongoing investigation and remediation from the hack. A line item for a quarter, not the whole saga. Lawsuits and reputational damage stretched far beyond that provision. Studios measure hits in box office. This one also measured in wiped workstations and leaked social security numbers. Third turn, nation-state attribution did not put files back. It changed diplomacy. The Sony case became the textbook example of destructive malware plus doxing, plus geopolitical leverage. If your network holds films and fingerprints, you are not only an entertainment company. You are a target map. Stack the receipts. 47,000 social security numbers exposed. Thousands of computers wiped. Unreleased films and executive emails public. Theater threats. FBI attribution to North Korea. $15 million set aside in early financial reporting. Cost of failure measured in screens gone black and inboxes gone public. Cleanup is blunt. Treat pre-release assets and HR files as crown jewels. Segment them from general office mail. Hunt destructive wipers, not only ransomware lockers. Run phishing simulations on executives, not only interns. Backup offline. And escalate extortion emails that name your studio before the skull wallpaper loads on Monday morning. Open questions remain. How many studios still share giant unencrypted dumps on flat networks? How often do nation-states use leaks to shape speech, not only steal money? Who owns the truth when government attribution meets skeptical researchers? Sony answered with hearings, lawsuits, and a decade of cautionary slides at security conferences. Which corporate failure should we open the file on next? Comment below. This was corporate breach. Sources include FBI releases, AP timelines, The Verge and Hollywood Reporter coverage, Novetta's Operation Blockbuster report, and Sony financial reporting. Full links in the description.